What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to episode one of the Real Culture Podcast, where we talk about movies, we talk about TV, we talk about streaming. I'm your host, Solo, and I'm joined by a beloved friend and a film fan, Couch. To kick off this inaugural episode, we have a pretty good topic here: spoiler review of Captain America Brave New World, and we're going to go into length about the state of the MCU, what's come before, what is to come. Join us. Leave us a like, leave us some comments. Enjoy.
All right, so we have seen the latest outing of the
Mm-hmm.
of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, the last feature film that Kevin Feige wasn't directly involved with, although the credits show otherwise.
Really?
Like all of his projects, he has his name on them, all of them, right? But after Bob Iger left, Chapek took over. Bob Chapek, Disney CEO. There was a lot of internal problems. We saw them publicly, right? And now we got the last feature film. I think that he didn't have creative control over. I believe it was this one, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm,
because
I couldn't find that. I don't see anything on that.
I know he greenlit. I know he greenlit Deadpool and Wolverine because they said so. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackson, that they went to him, talked about it, and did whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the current status of the MCU, quality wise, or the dip, right, was definitely you know kind of the effects of the CEO change. So now Iger's back.
I said he was in it. Yes, Kevin
Uh,
Feige was involved in Captain America Brave New World as the head of Marvel Studios. Feige was instrumental in the film's development, including casting Harrison Ford as President Ross.
okay, all right. So I guess he had his hands in this. Because I also know that there were a lot of reshoots on this. This was definitely a stitched together movie.
Mm, That I did hear about. A lot of people on Threads are talking about that. I haven't personally looked it up or anything, but somebody did leak some of the reshoots. Um, what was it? Like Ross apparently was supposed to die.
Okay,
Um, Bucky was added to it. I know that. Um,
okay. The
I, I could probably find it here, but
one
that might take a while.
second, give me one second. We're resumed. We're back. Fly Me to the
Okay.
Moon with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson.
I
Pretty
was
nice.
gonna watch that one, but I ended up not doing it.
It's a nice movie. So where were we? Yeah, there
The
were
reshoots.
definitely reshoots. Yeah, I definitely remember that one part of the reshoots was with Sidewinder, which is Giancarlo Esposito in that movie. He's in there for not too much, but I definitely know that when they were reshooting, he was involved. Even that scene, well, we'll get to it, I guess. But
Um, Rosa Salazar. Do you know anything about that?
no,
Because she's in it. I'm terrible with faces, so I didn't recognize her if she was in it. But people are
okay,
saying she was not in it. However, she is in the list of cast.
yeah, because I believe that actually I heard that there were some actors that shot their scenes, but they weren't, they weren't in the final film. So they were they definitely had a hard time putting this one together, which to me I find it a little weird, honestly, because I mean Sam Wilson's I think he's a great character. I think in the MCU he's been solid, right? He's been in a lot of the good projects that you know in the Infinity Saga they made. So I expected. I don't know. I went in with I was like expecting a better movie than we got, right? But
Hmm.
it's kind of it's, it's hard to see them fumble after having so much experience, right? Doing so much good. Like the overall stat. Well, I guess we'll get into that, but let's keep it at this movie. What are your What are your thoughts on it? What you think of it overall? What do you got?
I personally did really enjoy it. However, of course, it's not a perfect movie. It
Well,
definitely
let's start with
is.
the pros, right? Let's start with the
Hmm.
pros. What did we enjoy about it?
Pros, the action was great, dude. The beginning when he flew in, crash landed, and said, "Wait for it." Whoosh,
That
I was
was
like,
brilliant.
okay. I was like, that's
Absolutely,
fucking sick.
that was
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I was like, his knees definitely hurting after that, and I don't care that much vibranium, like it
Right?
absorbs impact, but his knees are buckling. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they were
But
like, yeah,
yeah, it was,
we're gonna look at the stealth entrances. He's like, you must be new. Went down,
yeah.
broke the sound barrier, landed like that. I was like, that's cool.
And it's speaking on that too, like I mentioned on Threads, there's so many people hating on it on Threads, and I spent a lot of time on it, just like talking and discussing this with people. But a lot of people hate the gear. They're like, "Oh, he's supposed to be Captain America. Yeah, he's all geared out. So now he's better than Captain America. He's better than Steve Rogers. What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Dude, why are you mad about that? Steve Rogers, if he was open to using gear, he'd do it. There's plenty medias that shows him not wanting to use gear. In one of the shows, I think Earth's Mightiest Heroes, um, or maybe Avengers Assembles, I don't remember which one. Tony makes a light shield for him, and he
Yeah,
doesn't like it.
I
In
remember.
Civil War, he has the magnets. Not Civil War. Age of
Eh,
Ultron. He has the
Age of
magnets. Never uses it again. And he's done it before, like again in different shows. He's had the
Giving it a
magnets. He just
yep.
doesn't like it. The magnets throw it off balance. So
Which is
he's just
it's funny
he.
that it's funny that people are hating that Sam's rocking Wakandan armor as if the
Mhm.
as if the shield isn't vibranium only found in Wakanda.
Exactly. And that was another thing too. People were talking about that, like, oh, he's nothing without his suit and gear and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, oh, and they're saying that he didn't make it, so blah blah, like he's practically useless, this and that. My argument to that is Thor never created his hammer, and until
Cap
Ragnarok, he was
shield,
heavily
Cap
relying
shield
on
is
it.
standard issue or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cap never made his shield. Black Panther, people love him. Never made his suit. Shuri made his suit.
yeah.
If Shuri died, God forbid, in the movie, whatever, he's not gonna know how the fuck to recreate it.
No.
Probably nobody either.
Only
Um,
one person, I think. Maybe two, Ant Man and Iron Man. Probably the only guys that actually made their tech.
and that's just
And
um,
Hank Pym actually made
Hank
it, so not
Pym.
not
That's
even
what I was gonna
Scott Lang.
say. I was
Yeah,
Hank Pym was the one that made it, not Scott. There's a lot of them. They're heroes for sure, with or without the suit. They're gonna risk their lives.
yeah.
However, without those suits, without their gear, they're not who they are. Even Spider-Man, like, yeah, he's super strong and everything, but he relies on his web shooters a lot.
Yeah.
Without his web shooters, he's basically just like Captain America, which is great and all, but he does rely on gear as well. A lot of these heroes do.
The biggest
And they're
hero.
like, yeah, and they're just like, oh, he's using gear too much. He like all this tech, blah blah. Without it, he's nothing. Like he has no skill. You put a jetpack with wings on your back and go ahead and fly around and do what he do. You're
Yeah.
not gonna do it. It takes skill. Like regardless, it takes skill. You,
They actually highlighted that too. They made a point of that in the movie when
yeah,
Joaquin couldn't do the looks that he could, and he was like,
exactly.
"This is how you do thruster first, then you Then you do the
Yeah.
kick. So
And then he got a
yeah,
little too cocky. He went for that missile. Ended
he
up
did.
needing surgery in the hospital. All that. It takes skill, dude. You know,
Yeah,
if you're gonna
absolutely.
hate on the character. That's fine, but make your points valid.
Yeah. So other than the action, what else? What else did you like about it?
I know you didn't really like the story, but I think the story was good. I
Okay.
think it had enough info in it. It wasn't hand holding, but it had enough info in it for even people who's never seen Hulk or Falcon and the Winter Soldier to still pick up on what's happening. Of course, it does help, but you don't necessarily have to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think it was good pace. You know, the leader definitely was really heavily reliant on his probabilities and calculations and stuff. However, hear me out. He spent X amount of years making Ross likable, and as far as we know, he was never wrong. You know, maybe he got a few things wrong, but it's not really shown. Everybody hated Ross. They're like, "Oh, we know why we call you Thunderbolt Ross. Like you earned that title. Nobody likes you. Now he's president." The
Yeah.
dude has spent years
Building him
making
up.
this unlikable guy likable.
Yeah.
So now he's like, "Okay, I can make you likable. Now I can make people hate you." And it said he was working for him so that he can be free once he became president. And then it's 5 months later. It says 5 months later. It cuts to uh, the fucking Sam Wilson
He
going
got
into
yeah.
to that scene, right, to the action scene, the first sequence. It cuts to 5 months later. So he had 5 months to plan this. He had years to make Ross president. He did it. So in 5 months, he got cocky. That was his downfall. And it's a lot of villains' downfalls, honestly, that they get too cocky. But that's how I see it. A lot of people don't see it that way, but I mean, you could call it lazy, but realistically, that's a lot of villains. Like, oh, you can kill him right there. They don't kill him because they're cocky. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I liked it. I think it was done good.
That's good. Listen, for me, well, let's start with my pros. Since, that's where we start. Um, for me, the MVP. I mean, just going to it. The MVP of this movie for me was Harrison Ford. Not because of the legendary
Yeah.
actor Harrison Ford. Like we were speaking, before, an actor like that of his obviously legendary, um, big name, could have easily phoned it in. We've seen it. We've seen actors
Yeah.
of that caliber just phone it in, collect a paycheck, walk away. Right? Okay, we had the legendary Harrison Ford. That's what we are left with. But no, definitely not. What we got with this character, or what he gave this character, because he's, unfortunately, he's replacing William Hurt, who played an excellent General Ross, in my opinion, in The
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk. We saw him in Civil War. We saw him, and I think he's been great. Honestly, I really like his take on Thunderbolt Ross. So Harrison Ford comes in, takes over that role. I think he did great. I think he added his own thing. This is you felt the experience, you felt the that he's gone through it, right? And he even gave Thunderbolt Ross, which is crazy, vulnerability. That's what we saw
Hmm.
in this film
Yeah.
also. And there are moments where he's just thinking about his daughter. He's thinking about Betty. He's thinking about his legacy. He's thinking about the future. He's dealing with a lot of things. And Harrison Ford's performance for me was the highlight. That's my take for it. Right,
Yeah.
that's
For
my take.
sure.
Because I think that they gave him the rich end of this script, and yeah. Also, the action scenes. You know, in the hand-to-hand combat that we're used to seeing with Cap after Winter Soldier, I felt like the first couple of action scenes weren't exactly on par with what we've seen.
No, for
Not that they
sure.
didn't have their cool moments. Not that they didn't have
Yeah.
their cool moments. Like I'm with you. When he goes down, supersonic lands, wait, super landing like hell, and then waits for
Yeah.
the sonic boom, and then goes straight to it. I was loving that. Right, I was loving the use of the honestly with the gear, no issues.
It's
I
great.
listen.
It is.
We've seen gear, right? Gear being used in so many movies. Look how much gear Spider-Man used after Tony's death. He
Hmm.
inherited Friday. No one's complaining about that gear, right?
Yeah.
Like we see tech being used all the time. No one has a problem with it. I felt like they needed
And
to give Sam also that edge when it comes to his stuff, and we see also how it served a purpose later
mhm.
on in the film. Right? We don't get those action scenes like that if vibranium or that kinetic energy or storing that kinetic energy weren't a factor. We don't get the Indian Ocean action scene, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that how they were mixing that fight with the drama going on, with the president, with the situation, with the political, you know, or the politics of it all. Right? I thought it was handled so brilliantly in that scene, in those moments. I felt like that's when the movie was at its highest point because they were
Yeah.
juggling various things at the same time during an action scene, right? Very well, very effective. And later on, we spoke about it too. I love the Hulk action scene, right? The Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of it was used for marketing, but nevertheless, those scenes were great. I felt like
Yeah.
him look like Harrison. The action, the fighting Cap. That was one of my things. I was like, what is Sam Wilson
Uh, what
even
is he
doing?
going to do?
What
What is
is
this
he going to
man
do?
about
They
to
solved it
do?
like that. They solved it like that with the Wakandan tech, but still, after the first punch that Red Hulk gives him, you see the wing vibrating, and he's like,
That's
Jesus,
that's what I was gonna point out because
how
a
ref-
lot of people were complaining about that too. They're like, "Oh, without his suit, he's gonna die." Like, yeah, of course. But the suit, even the suit was struggling. Like, he mainly survived because of the shield. The shield took most of that impact. When the wing started taking impact, it started bugging out. And with Black Panther, like Thanos hit him so hard that the vibranium
just
couldn't store that.
disperse. Yeah,
It just
yep,
immediately dispersed. That
yep, yeah,
wing
absolutely right.
was
And in
about
fact,
to freaking blow up, bro. Was about
it
to
was like,
blow right off his back. Yeah,
bro, he
and you
looked
see
at
him
me
not
like,
use it too much until he actually needed it. Like in the end, the
exactly.
Hulk came in hard, so he covered
And
himself with everything he could.
and how refreshing was it to see a crazy amount of gamma power back on screen, which we haven't really gotten that.
Yeah,
They sterilized, or I don't even know how to say it, Hulk. They really brought it down, and in She-Hulk, that's the ultimate low of what Hulk should be, in
yeah,
my opinion. So, we haven't seen rage at all since Age of Ultron. No, no, no. I have to say, though, Ragnarok. We definitely saw him hulking out the right way,
uh,
the right way
not not
in
by
certain
much
scenes.
though.
No, no, yeah,
In
yeah, not by much, not by much, but it was
Age of
refreshing.
Ultron, really had that was the last time we seen the
Him
Hulk.
really Hulk out. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Like,
Ragnarok was more having fun Hulk.
yes, it was a lighter take on the character. Absolutely, it was, but it was a comedy. I mean, billed as a comedy.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't mind it. Like, I don't, because at the end of the day, I do like how they did Hulk, because Hulk is mainly like, I want to be alone, I want to be isolated, and then again, going back to like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, he agrees to be an Avenger as long as he gets to stay as the Hulk and does not have
Yeah.
to revert back. He has a good time. He makes
Yeah.
his quips. He
Yeah.
fights. He does hero things and he has fun. So I
And
like that about Ragnarok.
right now that you bring up that bring that up, right? I think that that is the perfect balance. I think the perfect balance is in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, right? Which is an animated TV show. Yes, but it's great where they struck
Very
where
great.
he can Hulk out. He has that rage in him. He's not Professor Hulk, right? Which listen, I'm
Mhm.
all good for having all these things, but going back to Ross Red Hulk, so refreshing to see just someone
Yeah.
lose it, and they really, and it wasn't on screen much, but they really showed the power, and I love
hmm
that because, and I love that they kind of set Sam up for that fight because like if he doesn't have that Wakandan kinetic energy absorber tech, right?
hmm
Cap can't make it out of that fight. It's
Exactly.
it's too much. It's too much, right? So those are I feel the highs of the movie. They relied on the action of it. Yes, I felt like the drama was there. The right characters were being used because those were the guys that had the best. But now let's go to the cons. Now I want to hear your cons
Cons.
first. Now I want you to
Okay.
really bring it. Just if I don't want you to say none you don't believe, but you know what did you
I
think they could have done better? Let's hear your thoughts.
my major con is Red Hulk being promoted too much. That is my biggest problem with the movie. And I've learned to accept it through, again, going back to threads. I've talked to so many people on there. I've learned to accept it because they had to market it for toys. Apparently, I don't know how true it is. I didn't look it up, but apparently McDonald's dropped the ball.
They
They
did last year.
released they released the toys, and I remember this after he pointed it out. This guy on Threads pointed it out. My boy has a little red Hulk on his truck, and I remember seeing the pictures. It was like I don't even think it was in America, dude. I think it was in another country. Somebody took a picture of it, posted it on Reddit, and it went everywhere. Then, like 2 weeks to a month later, I'm at the gym with my boy. I see him get out the truck, and I point out the Red Hulk. I'm like, "Oh, sure, you got Red Hulk." But in my head, I'm like, "Damn, it's true." And then that's when the marketing started appearing. My only problem with that, though, it's fine. It got leaked. Who knows? It got leaked. My only problem with that, though, they relied on it too heavily, and I don't want to bring this up because I don't want this to be like a whole thing in the talk or anything, but I kind of feel like they did it because they did not rely on the movie. They didn't believe the movie was going to do too good.
Oh, that's where I'm
And
going.
yeah,
Go
but
there.
here
Go there.
here's what I didn't want to bring though. Like I feel like a big thing is like kind of a race thing, you know? Because ever since it was shown in Endgame he was going to be it, there's been problems. It hasn't been talked about too much, but now that the movie's out, I'm seeing a lot of like race hate towards it. And I feel, I mean, I get it, I'm not saying Marvel did it out of um what's the word, out of being like spiteful or out of I don't know what to call it, but malicious. I don't think they maliciously did it, but as a company, if you're seeing a lot of people hate on a black Captain America, you're gonna be like, what can we do to fix that? A lot of people didn't like it, the idea of a black Captain America. A lot of people just didn't even believe in the movie. They didn't think it was going to do good. And then we have people who kind of gave up on the MCU completely. So it's definitely a mix of things. I'm not saying it's like all racial, but I do feel like it has something to do with it. So I just feel like they didn't believe the movie could stand on its own. And that's why they marketed the hell out of it. But in doing so, I didn't expect him to be in it too much, but a lot of people did. So for him to show up for like a 10-minute fight scene and then nothing to add on to it, I feel like it let a lot of people down because I left the theater empty. I expected the Red Hulk. I actually quoted, not quoted. What's the word? Bar for bar, line for line. This is exactly what I said on Threads. I went in. I expected the Red Hulk. I expected it to get defeated, and that's it. You know, I was waiting for it. It happened. He got defeated. Not in the way I thought, but he got defeated. And there's nothing there. It just ends. It's ended. There's really no leading up to anything. If you kept up with MCU lore, the incursions are coming. So the post-end credits scene doesn't really add much to it. And the only thing I will say, I had no idea the Avengers were disbanded. I believe there was still the Avengers after Civil War, but of course just on Tony's side. And then after Endgame, I figured they all kind of got together again, but they were still kind of separated, And there hasn't been like a really big thing to bring them all together. So that is one thing I will say, that I had no idea that the Avengers just completely were done after Civil War.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was after Endgame. But point is, I didn't know they fully disbanded.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I believe. What I believe to be true, right? Putting aside the race thing, which may or may not be a thing, right? It may or may not, right? If there are people that they decide to talk bad about the movie because the lead is a black man or because Cap is black, man, I think those guys are idiots. I mean, to be completely honest with you, what's that have to do? Like, really, what does that have to do? We're not talking about, he's not Steve Rogers, right? He's Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that.
He's his own guy. Yeah.
What did they do? They gave the moniker to him. I mean, and in a way that everybody was okay with, because no one, at least to my recollection, had a problem in 2019 when Cap hands the shield to Sam. Nobody. Everybody was teary-eyed about it. Oh, this is great. Let me tell you why, right, Red Hulk was marketed. Well, with the McDonald's thing, I remember this clearly. Brave New World was supposed to be out last year. It got pushed a full year.
You're right. That's why the toys came out.
They cleaned the slate of 2024. We only got one Marvel movie that year, and that was Deadpool and Wolverine, which was basically untouched from all the reshoots and rewrites and this and that was going on right after Kevin Feige was kind of reinstituted, right? Because that's what Iger came and did, right? Gave him the power back. It was already locked in with McDonald's. That was going to come out. I remember when I saw, on the kids meal and everything, I was like, well, this kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They were always going to market it. Those Marvel toys have to come out. That's one side of the business, So
that's what I was saying. Like, I figured out it was unavoidable, but if they could have avoided it, dude, that surprise would have been so good. I would have left that theater happy.
You said that's a 10-minute fight scene. I don't even think it makes it to 10 minutes. So
they marketed generous, honestly.
Yeah. So they marketed the hell out of this thing, right? I mean, he was all over the place. Wherever Cap was, Red Hulk was. Yeah. That's how. This could have easily been, you could have titled this Captain America against Red Hulk, because that's how, bonded together, right? These two characters were in the marketing. I agree with you. I feel like the reason they marketed him is because they didn't have a strong enough story. They just
I'm gonna let you finish, but I don't believe that's true.
I'm gonna let me, because I feel like this was, in my opinion, right, a big letdown. I mean, the screenplay to me was nonsensical at some points, and I guarantee you, listen, I'll speak for myself, right? Baron Zemo's plan was a better hatched plan for tearing the Avengers apart than the leader had. I mean, what was that? What his plan had made no sense, relied so much on, I mean, I feel like they pushed the screenplay or the script or things happen, to service him, but that weren't warranted. I mean,
Hmm.
honestly, the villain is beyond forgettable. I'm talking about Thor: The Dark World, the Dark Elf, Malekith's forgettable. I, I felt no threat from the villain and from the leader, and the leader isn't a small villain in the Marvel universe. We're talking about a huge Avengers level threat that had absolutely no impact on us. This felt like Ant-Man Quantumania with Kang. We really didn't feel the threat. Not an
Hmm.
Avengers level threat. They built Kang to us. They build him as the next Thanos level threat. So much so, Avengers Kang Dynasty was announced, right? And then Secret Wars. Like that's huge. You're saying that this is the guy, right? And aside from all that stuff that happened with Jonathan Major, right? Kang got defeated by Ant Man, bro. I mean, that's what happened, right? And the best Kang we've seen was in Loki season 2, which you haven't seen. But I
Yeah.
think that was the best. I think that was the best use of the character. So here we are with a great villain that I feel like this script, the screenplay had an identity crisis because this honestly didn't feel like it should have been a Captain America movie. It should have been a sequel to Hulk. Where was Banner in all of this? He was gigantic. I mean, it's Marvel right now. I mean, this is a movie that he should have been in my
Hmm.
in my opinion. I mean, you had
Agreed.
his
100%.
all his players on the chessboard except for him, and I felt like he could have had a whole different dynamic with Sam than Joaquin did. I mean, listen, I'm not saying anything about Danny Alvarez. I believe is the actor's name. I think he did the best he could with what he got, right? But what he got wasn't great to start with. I thought Sam didn't, Sam Wilson didn't get, or Anthony Mackie rather, didn't get the best lines, the richness, right, of what the script offered. I felt like only Isaiah, the Isaiah character, and Harrison Ford walked
God,
away with.
Isaiah was so good, bro.
I agree.
Oh
We
my
saw him,
God.
which is crazy. We've only seen him in two Marvel projects. You saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Right. So you,
Definitely.
you see him in two Marvel projects, and you definitely feel. I think the only word to use with him is the gravitas that he adds on to the film, which also Harrison Ford adds on. Right. I felt like that's when the story with Sam was at its strongest because there was that back and forth with Isaiah, that respect, that understanding that that character has gone through so much pain, right? 30 years locked up, having fought for his country, being tested on. I feel like he was an amazing character, and they gave him even more in this one, which I'm happy. I'm happy to see the Isaiah character back. I like how he was used as an element to forward
Uh,
the plot. He was there throughout the whole movie.
yeah.
That's a pro for me that I forgot to mention. But other than that, it's just it was really empty feeling. You had oh my god, what's his name again? Sidewinder. Who played Sidewinder? Um,
Is that a
Jesus, what's
villain or?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Um, I just I just know him from his
I,
Breaking Bad name,
I
Gustavo
mean,
Fring. Oh,
oh yeah,
Giancarlo
they,
Espinosa.
yeah.
Right? Great actor in throwaway roles that could have been any actor they put in there. So I'm like, what, where's the depth in this writing? I felt like they hovered over themes, never went into them, never dived into them. I felt like the deepest we went was with those two actors, and That's why they're the MVPs for me. Harrison Ford and the guy who plays Isaiah, who's I can't remember right now, but I felt like the script just it just left me empty. If they would have had a richer script, a richer story, there's no need to market Red Hulk. They would have had if Hulk would have been in this, they market Hulk and save Red Hulk for last. What are we gonna see Hulk out again? Because you can't have a Hulk movie because the rights belong to Universal, and you gotta plug Bruce Banner into any project that you gotta plug him into someone else's project. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the only way you could get Hulk in the MCU lawfully. So I'm like, yo, why don't you plug him in here? All his characters are on the board right now. You have you could start a dynamic between Sam Wilson and um and Bruce Banner because I feel like Mark Ruffalo is such a great actor. He judges with everyone they put him in front of. He has chemistry to spare. We're talking about an Oscar level actor, Mark Ruffalo, right? Because he's been nominated what 2, 3 times already. Like, put him in this. What are you saving? What could you possibly be saving him for? We haven't seen him through all of Phase 4. It was emptying. I just didn't get the Captain America movie that I wanted. I wanted more for Sam Wilson. I wanted more for Anthony Mackie. Marvel fumbled this, man. In my opinion, it's mediocre writing. I'm tired of it. It was refreshing to get that I feel like that spark in Deadpool and Wolverine that where they listen. You could dislike certain parts of it, but I feel like you're gonna walk away having a really good time. With
Yeah.
this one, it was a drag. It was a drag, and I felt they were selling us, nice action scenes and toys instead of a really good story. So unfortunately, I didn't walk. I wish I would have walked away as positive about the movie as you did, but hopefully we get that in the future.
So
I want
I
to
wrote
rant
down.
that. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're good, dude. This is great. This is great. So here's my counter argument. I had to write down what you're talking about. For the plot, I feel like the plot is enough, in all honesty. I think you're the Hulk, honestly, bro, the Hulk is done, unfortunately. The Hulk has gone through character development that is irreversible without affecting
You
the
think so?
dynamic. I think so, in all honesty, bro. The only way it will change will make his character development go back. So I talked about, again, going back to threads, I talked about this with somebody because they asked about why Hulk didn't pop out during Infinity War.
Absolutely.
So a big fan theory, because the Russo brothers or whoever was involved in that movie was just we didn't want to use them. Simple as that. So a lot of fans theorized that it was because Hulk was tired of being a weapon. After Age of
Oh,
Ultron, he left. He went somehow. He got to Sakaar, whatever that
Sakar.
place was called. He got there. For years, he has been the people's champions. He has been treated as a god rather than a weapon or monster. In Infinity, or not Infinity War. Infinity War. But also in Ragnarok. In Ragnarok, he's undefeated. Thor comes this close to defeating him, but he still takes it as a win and he laughs it off.
Yeah,
He's
buzz.
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's joking about it. He's giving him a hard time. He won. For the first time in years, he becomes Banner again. Later on in the movie, it's supposed to be thrown as a joke, but again, going back to the theory, it's that Hulk doesn't want to be a weapon. He jumped off the plane. He couldn't be the Hulk. He couldn't turn into it. And he's like, "Oh, watch this." Jumps off the ship, lands, and
Bounce
breaks
off
every
the
bone in his
roof.
body. The only way he would have lived if the Hulk came out. The Hulk
Yeah.
doesn't want to die. He wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
The Hulk, he doesn't want to be a weapon. Hulk came out to keep him alive. now that he had control again, he was more than likely not going to try to give control back. So then, when Thor or Thanos comes out, beats his ass, bro. Beats his ass
Right.
so bad, Bruce comes out. So
Yeah.
then later on, when he's trying to like pop back up, he's like, "No, like I'm tired of you, bro. Like I was Hulk for years, and now you're puny. We're puny Banner again. You're not gonna let me be Hulk. I'm back to being in this prison for God knows how long." So even in Endgame, he's like, me and Hulk, we hashed it out, talked it over. Now they're the best of both worlds. Hulk is in peace. He gets to be his Hulk form, but Banner has control. But he's still in peace, you know? So the only way they can revert that is one, Banner gives full control to Hulk, maybe for a short time or maybe fully, just like in the shows. They usually how they play things. Hulk is in control and Banner's in the back seat. Two, mind control, or three, whatever Hulk did or whatever Banner did to bring them together is undone. So Hulk only gets to take the wheel for a bit, and then it's back to Banner. Because I've never seen the show, but I've seen clips and stuff. And She-Hulk, or what is it? After his arm is damaged, he goes back to Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
It's never really explained why, but then you see him in Shang-Chi as Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Never really explained why. But then in She-Hulk, again, he's still Bruce Banner. Car accident happens. She becomes a Hulk. Bruce becomes
You
Hulk
know
again.
what?
And then
I really didn't even notice that.
yeah, I just saw
I'm like, yo,
this.
that's right. In Shang-Chi, he was normal Hulk with the
Yeah,
armor.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was Bruce with the cast. He never
yeah, with
fully
the
healed from
cast.
it. And then in She-Hulk, when she points out, she's like, "Oh, you're Hulk again," and he's like, "Yeah, the lab I have downstairs that helped me turn into Smart Hulk, it eventually like healed his arm, something like that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but something happened. His arm fully healed, and then he became Hulk again.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what's in between there, but yeah, the point is they came to an agreement that they're gonna stay as Smart Hulk for however long they live. So it's unfortunate, bro, but he's just not gonna come back. So
Actually,
another thing
I
on
got.
that,
Let me jump
but
in there real quick. Let me
okay,
jump in
okay,
there. I got you. I got
okay.
you. Don't you think? Just thinking about it real quick. Don't you think that if up to this point, right, his character development has really in phase 4, I feel is where we saw kind of the well, maybe with Endgame people didn't like that he turned into Professor Hulk, right? That we're not getting Raging Hulk. I would have loved to see a rematch between Hulk and Thanos at the final fight.
100%.
I would have loved it. I mean, that's where I feel like that scene was missing, where Bruce tells Hulk, like in their subconscious, in his mind, take over. This is you.
Hmm.
You got it. And we get like a 3 minute, 2 minute. It wasn't even going to be long. If we even got the same amount that Cap got whipping his butt with Hulk, I would have
But
loved it.
that's what I
But let
did
me let me
say.
get to where I'm going now. Let me get to
Hold
where
up,
I'm
hold
going.
up. That was what I said though. I said there's three solutions. Banner gives Hulk control for a bit. They get mind controlled, or whatever they did gets reversed. So I did say that. I did say that
But yeah,
there's possibility he can give him full control for a bit, which
yeah.
is what
I like,
you're saying right now.
yeah, like I feel like where if there was a movie where we could have gotten Hulk to go back to that primal version, there is only one character that we have seen that gets him there. Truly, it's not Thanos. It's not Thanos. Where have we seen in the Marvel universe Bruce Banner's Hulk really rage? Only one person gets him there.
Hmm.
Thunderbolt Ross.
For sure,
Let's be
for sure.
real. That's the one guy, and the leader could have used Thunderbolt could have used Hulk. This could have been something nice for the leader to do. How about you use the Hulk, the real Hulk? Use him to freaking rage out on to plot against Thunderbolt to make Red Hulk come out.
I knew you were
It
gonna get
was
there.
they had the piece.
Let's
They had the pieces. I don't
let's talk about what you're trying to do, though.
know. Okay.
You're trying to take away his intentions. What you're talking about is this is fan service to comic
Yeah. This
fans,
is. Yeah. This is.
and that's fine. That's fine. Because trust me, I would love that. But the way the MCU is going, the way the story is going, it just doesn't make sense. Again, going back to threads, somebody was asking, why didn't he kidnap his daughter? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? His real intention was not necessarily to hurt anybody except Ross.
Yeah.
People got in his way. Unfortunately, they died. People, I mean, yes, people were going to die at the end of the day, but his main thing was to hurt Ross. He knew the number one thing that he wanted was to have Betty Ross love him again. Even he states it. The only reason he fought death and went to the leader was so Betty could talk to him again. Ross's whole intention to be president for everything that he has done is for Betty to love him again. If
Yeah.
he let the leader loose, he did experiment on the leader. He did whatever he did to the leader. If I remember correctly, he did give him more gamma. So that's what ended up warping his body more.
Yep.
So if the leader was to be loose, he would 100% snitch. And that would take back everything he has worked hard to do.
No, I'll tell you.
So,
I 100% agree with that belief that I don't think Ross was ever gonna let him see the light of day.
yeah, and
He
he says it
was.
himself. He says
Yeah.
it
He was
himself.
that
He's
one
a somebody
thread
had
that.
to take the fall.
Yeah. He's the one thread that if you or he's if he sponged the leader or Sam Stearns, because he wasn't really the leader. He was
Mhm.
really Samuel Stearns in this, right? That would be the last kind of thing he needed to have like a clean bill of
Yeah,
health, so to say, going forward.
yeah.
So
He
yeah,
was a loose end. And the only reason he
correct.
kept them was
Well,
because of the pills.
I couldn't think exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So going back to that, the like you said, he's not the leader. He's Samuel
yeah,
Stearns. His only because you're that's what I was going to as well for the leader. This ties in with this, so let me cross that out. The leader, his intention is not to be an Avengers level threat. His intention is to ruin the legacy of General Thunderbolt Ross. He does
right.
not care about anything else. That is his whole intention. And again, he has spent years making him likable. He only had 5 months to plan this. He wanted out. He wanted to get out of there. He had, 5 months to plan it. He did it. And here's the thing. I see you making that face. Here's the thing. He, you know, he messed up the second Sam Wilson and Joaquin get to the base because even
And
he
I thought,
states no in Mexico that was intentional. That was all him. But when
yeah,
they
that
get to
was.
the base in Virginia, I think it was
Oh,
when they
okay.
get when they get to the base, when he's first introduced, he states, there was a 90 something% chance that you were going to turn back. I guess even I can be surprised. He says something to that extent. So he never planned that Sam Wilson was actually going to be there. That's the first hint that his plan was declining. Because then
Yeah,
after that, like all bets are off the table. He's trying to get this done faster. He's like, okay,
that's
things are going to
like
plan.
like going staying on that right, staying on that topic. Did you really find at any point that Sam Wilson's actions were surprising? Was that were those really surprising things? Like that's what I'm going to. You know, if it was a surprise for the leader, it should have been a surprise for us as well. But I felt like all his actions throughout the whole movie were completely justified, not nonsensical. I mean, it was just normal for me. One,
No,
like I
100%. But that's kind of where the whole cockiness thing that I said earlier. He got cocky. He made General Thunderbolt Ross one of the most unlikable men on the planet. Made him likable. He made him president. So now he has this like high, like I can't do no wrong.
it was
You
one
know?
hell of a campaign manager. Yeah,
Yeah. Even Baron Zemo, at the end of the day, he didn't think he was gonna fail, and he failed. Right there. He's about his whole intention was
not
well,
really. He
okay,
didn't really fail.
he didn't.
He,
No,
he
no,
got
you're
what he
right.
wanted.
He got what he wanted, but he, how do
It
I say
cost him
this?
his liberty, but he got
Yeah,
what he wanted.
he
And
got
it,
what he wanted, but there was something I remember. Um, Black Panther said something. I don't remember what,
I think the only
but
thing that he didn't get that he did want was his death, because that's when
yeah,
Black Panther stopped him. He was like, nah, nah, the
yeah,
world is
maybe I'm thinking wrong about it. But either way, back to the movie. He just got cocky, bro. At the end of the day, that's just how I see it. I 100% get where you're coming from, but
yeah, but because like when you
you're
say
also thinking of Avenger level threat. That's not what this movie's about.
yeah, but like the thing is, you're calling him Samuel Stearns, which in the comics is the leader. You're
Mhm.
saying that he has honestly one of the most powerful minds in the universe, one of the smartest minds in the universe. I mean, that's really who the leader is. That's who Samuel Stern is after the gamma exposure. And we didn't get that. Why? What was threatening about him? How can you possibly use that character in later films? It feels like there's
I
no
mean, we don't know. You know,
why
There-
even use
right now, he had personal beef with Ross. Now, maybe he has personal beef with Sam Wilson. Maybe he has personal beef with everybody now. He's like, everybody likes Ross. Nobody sees him as the monster that I see him as. Screw all of y'all, you know? You never know.
so
Because he was
so
another deleted, not deleted scene, but like maybe a reshoot that I saw. Apparently, he escaped the raft. He mind controlled somebody and they left off in a helicopter. If that was true, why they left that off, I don't know. But if that's true, they have plans for him.
yeah. Hopefully hopefully something good. Listen, if you don't kill him off, that's fine. But like, let's talk about the future. I guess where this film goes to, because now we're closing in. We're closing in on the end of Phase Four, which has
Hmm.
been by far the biggest phase the MCU has ever had. 29 projects.
Did you
29
rename it?
projects after. Huh?
Did you rename the thing?
Future of the MCU? No, it's
Yeah,
little banners.
that's pretty dope.
So so yeah, 29 projects into the MCU after Endgame, which is extremely aggressive. Um, which also kind of speaks to how the quality in the overall MCU has declined. In my opinion, it's the amount that they're putting out that has deviated, I guess, the concentration in quality. I feel like only a handful out of the
I
29 projects I feel like have been top tier, and now we're getting. I think we're two projects away from Doomsday.
yeah,
We got
two projects away
Thunderbolts.
from Doomsday, and I think like four after four to Secret Wars. I think.
Yeah, like that's so now we're coming up on that. We had spoken about it through text before, how it feels too soon, but like literally it's not, right?
Hmm.
It's how the story, how we've gotten here, that feels mishkabobble. It feels like they've what exactly are the Avengers? Like you said yourself, they were disbanded. We were never even aware of that, right? The Sokovia Accords made them register, just like in
Yeah,
just like in the Civil War comic book. You
exactly.
sign, you get to become part of this organization that is, handled by the UN. But we 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 have no update on the Avengers, and we now are kind of in the final moments before Doomsday, where it kind of feels like Infinity War that I mentioned
Yeah.
before. They were separated, but it
Hmm.
doesn't feel like Infinity War where that phase or up to that point in the Infinity Saga it had merit. Right now,
Hmm.
it feels like they're separate, right? Because I feel like it's been branched out. It literally feels like the multiverse where you got the sacred timeline and a bunch of branches, but it wasn't really on purpose. You
Yeah.
understand? So we definitely
Eh,
are in the multiverse saga, and it's honestly I don't know what to expect from Thunderbolts. People like the trailers. I think they've been okay, and my expectations are really close to the ground. I really don't expect much from the. I thought that the latest trailer was pretty good, but I don't expect much from the Thunderbolts at all. And Fantastic Four, I'm hoping that I mean, that movie has so many things.
Yeah.
We need a good Fantastic Four movie. I'm a fan of the first two. Tim Story back in the day, I like them.
Hmm.
Um, but it's Marvel's first family. The first, like these guys are extremely known, beloved in the comic book community, and I really hope they have a good creative team behind it. John Watts, who made the three Spider-Man movies in the MCU, Rowan directed it. Um, it looks good. There seems to be hype for that,
Yeah.
more so than Thunderbolts. And then we're going into Doomsday, which honestly, it's gonna rile up all of us, and let's see what we get because they gave us a big reason to go see that movie last
Hmm.
year at Comic Con. Um, for good or worse, RDJ is back in the villain role, Doctor Doom. But it's a weird feeling going into it. It's not giving me the Infinity War going into Endgame vibes. It's giving me
Yeah.
the I don't know what we're gonna get. They got a good creative team. They got the best and most successful creative team behind Doomsday and Secret Wars, but it's looking kind of like scary. I feel like we've only had like I'm telling you a handful of projects that have felt good
Yeah.
in phase four. Amongst them, I'd say Shang Chi, No Way Home was like a given. You put those all those characters in there, you're gonna have the fans on your side.
I want
It's listen.
not in this one, but I definitely want to talk about No Way Home because this has
uh,
been buddy. I don't think we've properly talked about it.
We
I
probably
want to
haven't,
talk. I want to talk about it at some point, but
you
continue.
know. They definitely riled the fandom with that one. I mean, you got to give it that.
Yeah,
Um, I felt like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness was. I felt like it was good.
I thought
I
it was
thought it
good.
was.
Yeah,
I don't think it was the Civil War level, but I think it was right under that. Probably in the tier right under that.
the
Um,
problem I saw a lot of people have with it is it's the multiverse of madness, but there's not much multiverse per se.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, the other project that I love from Phase Four, love was WandaVision. My God,
yeah.
that was good stuff.
I did enjoy
That was good
WandaVision
stuff.
heavily.
I did love Loki season one and two, um, and there have been more projects. I loved one episode of Moon Knight. I think it was episode five. That was actually really well done. One episode of What If. All these I haven't seen Agatha. Have you?
No, I haven't, and I stopped
I think it
watching
was
What
good
If after
actually.
season one. I wasn't
Yeah,
I
it
wasn't too
was.
invested in it, especially after hearing like everything they're doing. Like, oh, what if? I mean, I know this is in the latest season, not in the second one, but what if Agatha went to Hollywood? Like, come on, dude, what are you
Really like
doing?
that.
Yeah, and then there was one with Dorothy, whatever the hell her name is, the
Dorothy,
hot chick from Thor. Um, she she has a
Jane.
baby with the duck. No, not the other one, the black haired one, the girl with the
Oh, yeah,
glasses.
I know. I know.
She's in Two Broke Girls. I suck with
Yeah, I
names, dude.
know.
Yeah,
Cat Will Cat something. Cat Dennings. Cat
I
Dennings.
think it is Cat something. Yeah, but yeah, she has a baby with the duck, Howard the Duck,
Howard the Duck.
and
Perfect.
now that apparently that's an original character.
It is. Yeah.
And what are you gonna do with it?
No, well,
you
he
know,
was in Guardians actually.
no, not Howard the Duck. Their child.
Oh, the child was an original character.
Yeah, because I saw somebody go like, "Oh my God, they brought out this and that," and then I looked into it, or I honestly I didn't care. I didn't look into it. I stumbled upon it. Somebody was like, "That's an original character." So somebody at Marvel Studios was like, "Let's let's make an episode about Howard the Duck banging this chick and getting pregnant." And they weren't even pregnant. It was an egg. Somebody laid an egg. Whether it was her or Howard, apparently it's not disclosed, but somebody laid a damn egg, dude. But yeah, that's why I didn't watch it. But um, for a phase to be called the multiverse saga, there's not much multiverse stuff going on in it. And I know people are like, "Oh, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it." I mean, that's what the phase is called, dude. The multiverse is a big thing in the comics. Love it or hate it, it's a big thing. And
I feel like
there just wasn't really enough of it.
the multiverse element for me was definitely not handled right. It
No.
hasn't felt like a cohesive story being told throughout the movies. It's not easy, but
Yeah, no.
you guys coined it. You guys coined it the multiverse saga. We're
Yeah,
supposed
so do something with it.
to exactly. So like I feel like they're gonna try and push that idea on us with Fantastic Four because obviously that doesn't take place. Obviously that takes place in a time before ours,
Hmm.
but also it's not
In a
our universe.
different, yeah, it's in a different world, different
It's in a
universe.
different world. So I hope they listen. They got people in front of us that we have trusted,
Hmm.
people that we at least the speaking for the majority, speaking based on the numbers and the reviews, right, and the audience reviews. For the most part, people love what John Watts has given to the MCU. People love what the Russo brothers have done to the MCU. I understand that one of the two writers, is also coming back to write Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday starts filming next month, end of next month. So, we got a lot of things coming at
It
us.
comes out May next year.
Well, these guys are built to make a movie in a year. I think their
Yeah.
production is gonna go through August, and then they have like a year to for effects and all that stuff. But I I hope I there if they give us an okay movie, we made it out of the multiverse saga. But it's been kind of a downer these past
Here's
couple of years.
uh here's why I feel like it's too soon, like I mentioned through text. Yes, they have a lot of projects, but I think I did mention it to you. In the previous one leading up to Infinity War, there's two Avengers movies and Civil War. If you know, it's a team up. Doesn't have to
Yeah.
count as an Avengers movie, but it's a
No, no,
team up.
no. I can see.
And I mean, yeah, there was a huge build up to it. You felt like something was coming. Now everything feels so disassociated from each other,
Exactly.
and
Oh,
it just
yes.
doesn't feel like they're connected. And I feel like it's okay to have multiple projects. It's okay to have multiple heroes, but what they really need to start doing, if they're going to continue this path, and still bring in more heroes. Like we're getting Wonder Man, we're getting Ironheart, Sentry's coming. Like all these characters are coming. There needs to be more team ups. 100% needs to be more team ups to make this work. And again, everybody's just far apart from each other.
All
Like I
right,
said,
I agree. This has been the
mhm,
longest, run of films, individual films that we
mhm.
haven't seen on an Avengers kind of event, and that's
Yeah.
why we have no idea who's in the Avengers. We
Who's
have
even
no
gonna
idea.
be in it?
Is
Yeah,
there
and
even
it,
one? So
yeah, and it's just gonna be thrown out. Like, and we got Thunderbolts coming. That is more than likely shortly after Brave New World. So by then there won't be an Avengers team per se. There'll be the idea of it, but it won't really be there. And then after that, Doomsday. So in Doomsday, either the Avengers are a thing or they're not. They're in the
yeah,
middle of it, or we start off like, yeah, this is a new Avengers, but it's not going to be like this group of people forced together to become the Avengers. That's what was so beautiful about the first one.
yeah,
And I mean, you can argue that, yeah, that's exactly what happened in the first one. These group of heroes were forced to team up, and then they stuck with it. But I just don't know how they can bring that magic in Doomsday.
like one of my things was, and I think they referenced it in Brave New World. They did. The president wants Sam to bring them together, and
Hmm.
I'm like, is Sam the right choice to bring them all together? I'm talking about story wise. Is that
Hmm.
like who brings the Avengers together? Who I felt like after Tony's death, Tony was carrying that you know the Avengers, I guess, because you remember in after the first Avengers, right? His tower, Stark Tower, became Avengers Tower. Then he
Yeah,
became
like
yeah
he's their
in
funder.
Age of Ultron he had that New York thing, and in Endgame he has that New York compound, right, where that got destroyed and whatnot in Endgame. So he was financing them, and now the team, there is no team. There's gonna have to be a team to go, up against Doctor Doom, which I really hope they get him right. I mean, that's
Hmm.
fine for them to take liberties, but right now you're about to give us one of the most beloved characters comic books have ever seen. I mean, he's definitely up there with the ranks of Magneto. I think he's higher than Thanos, to be completely
Oh
honest with
yeah,
you.
for sure.
I think he's in the realm of Magneto and Joker and that that tier of villains. So I hope they do the right thing. I hope that we see them correcting or a huge course correction, right? And I hope we get a good team. I really don't know who they're going to use right now. The universe, the MCU, has expanded it's so immense right now. What characters are even going to be in this thing? Like, I'm not even
Yeah,
saying form part of the Avengers. I'm saying who's actually going to be in this movie.
yeah.
I don't want to see 48 characters be in there because we already saw that with. And I want to see something solid, something. Uh,
I,
it's. I agree. It should have. We
I,
should have had Avengers level things leading up to this big one. Just
yeah.
like they did in the Infinity Saga. They should have done it that way. They didn't want to repeat the winning formula. They wanted to do something else. That's fine, but they kind of dropped the ball on that one for me. I feel
Here's
like
another reason I think it's too soon. Spider-Man 4 comes out after Secret Wars, and there's big
well,
talks about it being another
well,
multiverse movie.
nah, it comes out next year.
That's after Doomsday.
after Doomsday, but before
Yeah.
Secret Wars, not after.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I meant Doomsday. Yeah, it's after Doomsday, and there's big talks of it being a multiversal movie. And I really hope not, because then it's just forcing the narrative. Because in Secret Wars, if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man does have a big part to play besides him getting his Venom suit from there. Besides getting the symbiote. So if that's the case, they're gonna shove the multiverse again down our throat. Because one, No Way Home did good, and two, to kind of drive the narrative there. It should have, if it's going to be a multiverse movie, it's going to be him, more than likely him, like trying to get some Spider-Man together. And I don't think they're going to get more than Toby and Andrew. I highly doubt it. But I mean, like, how can you make it a multiverse movie right before Secret Wars? It should have been, and I really hope it is it. And going back to team ups, it should be a street level movie with him hopefully teaming up with Daredevil at some point. That'll be so great. And then at the end, you could bring in the multiverse. Like, okay, this big thing is coming. You can even reintroduce
You're
Madam
talking
Web.
about Spider-Man 4 be a street level thing. Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man 4. Be a street level movie, and then you can still bring in the multiverse thing, because apparently, God knows, who knows what's going to happen. Apparently, Toby and Andrew are coming back for their final time in Secret Wars. So you can give us one good slap in the face, and I mean this in the good way. Give us a really good slap in the face at the end of whatever Spider-Man 4 is going to be called. Everything happens, whatever, blah blah. He's happy, okay, back to normal. Nope, Madam Web. Hey, I'm gonna need y'all three to come fight.
You lost me.
Something big is happening. Yeah, I lost you. Nah, I feel like that would
Lost
be
me.
a. I feel like that would be a good. Doesn't have to be the Madam Web that they introduced. Yeah, I don't care for that movie. Reintroduce her. Because if you're gonna bring back Toby and Andrew, I feel like that's a good way to do it. You know,
It's a
unless he's just like, hey, Doctor Strange, I know two people we can bring into this fight. Which
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's the expected way to do it. Like people would expect that to happen, because people have been speculating that. I have seen that. But if you're gonna try to do another multiverse thing, you make it good. Madam Web is the big reason there's the whole Spider-Verse thing happens in the comics. She's a big part to play.
I absolutely
Reintroduce her.
agree with her being a big part. I think that the chances of us getting that are so slim because
No,
of the
100%.
that was done, to that
Yeah,
movie.
100%. But I feel like that
Well,
that would be
but
the proper way
absolutely
to go.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
it would make the most amount of sense. But I guess also to comic book fans though, not really to the narrative that Marvel has up to now, given us. It would make
Hmm.
more sense to do it with Strange. But you got me. I mean, I'd love to see that. And maybe they get someone really good to do it, some little short cameo or some small scene where they put
Yeah.
that together. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, and the reason I feel like that's the way to go as well is because if you're gonna introduce the multiverse,
Well, the
and we'll
multiverse is
re
already
yeah, yeah,
introduced.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
at the end of it.
if
We're
if
at
you're
the end
gonna
of it.
if you're gonna bring it, like, how do I say? Because they're saying Secret Wars we're gonna have this, we're gonna have that, blah blah. Different variations of Wolverine, different variations of Spider-Man. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't
But
even think Secret Wars
if
is written yet. I don't even think it's done yet.
yeah, yeah. But if
Like,
it's that, again, my thing is, if it's true, then that means Spider-Man 4 being a multiverse movie has to be true as well, to a certain extent. It might be, and it might not be until the end, but if Toby and Andrew are going to be in Secret Wars, and there's talks about Spider-Man 4 being a multiverse movie, it has to be true to a certain extent. You know that
right.
I don't know, but that's the thing too. If you're going to bring in heroes from different worlds, like two Spider-Men, why not bring in others? And it makes
Nah,
sense because of the
honestly, I don't
multiverse
want.
aspect.
I want to see more. We have so many characters right
No,
now.
I'm
Let me
I'm
let
I'm
me
not
ask you
saying I
something.
want this. I'm not saying I
Oh,
want this. I'm saying narratively speaking, why would you not do that? But at the same time, if you're doing that, the incursions happen because somebody has been in a world for too long. It's been
right.
stated in Doctor Strange too. So if you're doing that, that means you're putting more um, risk to your world, possibly putting a risk to their world.
We saw that in No Way Home, right? At the end,
Yeah,
when they were coming through, you saw those characters
yeah,
coming through because
hmm
you had two people of different universes sharing it with Tom Holland's, and it was literally ripping the skies apart.
yeah, hmm
So there's a lot of things they could use. Hopefully, they put something together that's solid. I feel like they should just consolidate the amount of Avengers. What how would I call it? I guess the what do they call it when they like 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 the nominees for being an Avenger, like
the
the characters, and just make it a tight group. Something I really honestly, I'll be honest with you. I had an idea of how they would put together or conclude because Secret Wars is a conclusion, not a beginning, right? It's a
yeah.
conclusion of the saga. So I feel that I have no idea how they're gonna do this. I had an idea. I had some theories on Infinity War and Endgame, but this one really has me like, how are they going to close the book on this saga? Because I guarantee you, the next saga in the MCU is not gonna be built out like this one was because
Yeah.
what I guess the average reaction, critical and audience wise of this saga has to be in the 70s, maybe even lower. Whereas Phase 3 alone of the MCU was shooting banger after banger after banger. I mean, Phase 3 from what 2016 on was crazy. We had quality um, movies being released, and these guys were making $1 billion movies every other month, right? So I just want a return to quality. I feel like trying to bring it back into you know the final thoughts on what Brave New World offered the multiverse saga. I feel like it offered very little, to be honest
hmm
with you. It advanced the story, yes, because we become aware of things that we didn't know about the Avengers and other characters, but at the end of the day, it's like you know, it's. I wasn't a fan of it. I'm happy you were. Let's see where this takes us because all I was left with was that warning from Stern. These people are coming. What are you gonna do when they come? I'm just like, okay, I stayed through 8 minutes of credits for that.
Yeah.
It's, I was like, I
I,
thought it was gonna come at the end of like the Flash, and even their end credits sucks. I'm sorry, it just stopped being creative on that one, right?
no,
They
yeah,
had to
and
wait
that's what I was saying too. If you're not heavy on the MCU lore, then that is
yeah,
gonna be a big thing. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? But come on, dude.
yeah, yeah,
If you're gonna
exactly.
do if you're gonna do that for the people who aren't average Marvel fans, do
Yeah,
something for the rest of us. That's what I didn't like because after RDJ came out, everybody's like, "Oh my god, this and that's gonna happen." Blah blah blah. You're like, okay, we're gonna see
The Marvel fandom erupted when
yeah,
when this came out.
like
Like literally,
we got a variation of
yeah,
it's not Tony Stark, it's Victor Von Doom, but he has Tony Stark's face. We're gonna see
yeah,
variations. So
yeah,
it's okay. We're gonna see people from different worlds. Fantastic Four, the X-Men Beast has been showed, but X-Men, Fantastic Four, X-Men might even show up in Secret Wars. That might be how they end up bringing them all together.
I I really hope not for this reason. I want the X-Men to kick off the next saga because that is rich story in the X-Men comics. I mean, that is good stuff, right?
Yeah,
They have great source material in the X-Men comic book. I'm a big fan of them. I've loved what a few of the projects that Fox did, right, with the X-Men, but I'm really wanting them to kick off the next saga, maybe the X-Men saga, you know,
Mutant
because they,
Saga,
huh?
the Mutant Saga.
Oh my God! I mean, that would be. It even excites me to think about it because the possibilities are endless when it comes to that, and there is so many rich characters. I want to see some. Hopefully,
Here,
we get that way.
here's why I think
Like
it.
just 1 sec.
Mhm.
Imagine at the end of the mutant saga, right? Full blown villain Magneto. I mean, that'd be great, bro. That'd be great. That is
Yeah.
an Avengers level villain. That is someone that can rally so many people for him and against. It's so. I really hope
Well,
that they don't use them right now. We got
now that
enough characters.
you now that you did mention that,
Sorry.
and again, it's all just speculation, but
Yeah.
I did hear or see that apparently the next big event is going to be Avengers versus X-Men. I saw that that's supposed to be the
They
next
gotta
big
earn
event.
it. They
Yeah,
gotta earn it.
100%. But going back to the X-Men, I unfortunately do feel like they're gonna be in Secret Wars only because they need a way to put all the heroes together. I don't think they're gonna try to keep them all separate. And we have we have the Fantastic Four in one universe, and their decision to put them in a different place right before the incursions are happening just doesn't really. How do I say? I don't know. It kind of feels like they're doing something with that. Because they could have made what people theorized was that the Fantastic Four were going to be in the main timeline, but they were lost or they're in off-world. Not they weren't a big thing. People didn't really know about them. So they always up to crazy adventures, this and that. So that was the theory. They've been off-world, off-universe even, but no, their home universe is completely different from the main timeline. So showing them right before the incursions are about to happen kind of makes me feel like they're going to be a part of said incursion, meaning they're going to be put in the MCU in like the main timeline.
616.
And well, 616. It's like Earth 19999 something. But then going back to the X-Men, we have whatever her name was, the curly haired black woman from the Marvels. She's currently in.
Photon. Photon. I think.
Might be. I don't know. I don't think they really said her name.
It's
I think her name's Monica, but I don't think they ever said
yeah,
her
Monica Rambo. No,
Monica It is Rambo, but like
Rambo. Yes. Yeah,
RAMBAU
yeah,
something. I don't know. But yeah, she's in another world. We know being in
yeah.
another
See, I haven't
world
seen the
can
Marvels.
cause. Oh shit!
I haven't seen
I'm-
it.
I guess that's another thing we can talk about
Wait, did
after
you
you
see
watch
Miss
it.
Marvel?
I
Miss
loved it.
Marvel?
I loved it.
I haven't
I
seen
love
it
her.
either.
I
That's why I
love
haven't
her,
seen the
bro.
Marvel
She's
movies. I was
so
like,
good.
I want to see Kamala Khan. I believe is their name.
Yeah.
I
Damn,
might
bro.
be there.
I spoiled the ending for you, but that's why I feel like it's going to happen
So
because we see the incursions happen when you're in a world for
see,
too
that's
long.
the problem. That I said it's all right on a Marvel movie. That's not right. I am the target demographic.
Uh,
It's fucking me in, bro. I'm like, I just haven't been feeling it. That's why I hope that listen, Marvel is has so much source material that they could go off of.
Hmm.
It's immense. The library, it's immense.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
And see, with Secret Wars, when you were talking, I was paying attention, but I was looking it up. Apparently, there's three Secret Wars. So I don't know what
yeah.
the
There
first two are about, but I do know in the first one, that's where he gets his symbiote. Spider-Man gets a symbiote. And then I
was
know
that in Battle
the
World? Was it in Battle World?
it's Battle World. Yeah. The only thing I know about Battle World is a whole bunch of like people come together because of like what is it, the Collector and the Grandmaster or something. They make them fight.
Not a fan of that
Um,
story.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then I know in the Spider-Man animated series, like Shocker, you can't
yeah,
escape me, and that one. Um, like I know that one. They have Battle World in that one. That's
they're not.
basically all I know. I didn't know there's a second one. I have the beginning of Secret Wars. Like it came out in Free Comic Book Day. I have that one. I know that's when the incursions happen, and that's what they're gonna go based off of.
Listen,
Um,
hopefully they they
but
they
yeah,
they
I
find
mean,
a way to. Hopefully they find a way to do because the movie that most impressed me that it was an adaptation of comic book, right? Was not Infinity War. Endgame was original, kind of. Um,
yeah, it was pretty
as in
original.
it wasn't based on a comic book per se, right?
Yeah.
They kind of they kind of had enough to work off of. It was Civil War. I mean, if you read Civil War, that is that is that's not what we got. They
Yeah.
used they used elements of it, right? But Civil War was they kept it a Captain America movie, which I loved. I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't just call it Avengers 2.0. They made it a Captain America movie. Where the supporting actor was Iron Man, and they were pushing these two kind of leads with different, philosophical differences, and they really brought the emotion. I mean, that airport scene wasn't, it wasn't, oh, let's just put them against each other. No, there was, remember that two movies that year in 2016 were coming out that were dealing with two big superheroes going up against each other. It was Captain
Yeah.
America and
And
Iron Man and
and then
Batman.
was Superman. I
And
remember.
one did the job way better than the other
100%.
because we were 1,000% invested on the dynamic and the conflict and understanding both sides of Civil War. And I feel like that those elements, were extremely well adapted. Like when you read Civil War, first of all, it's a bunch of comic books that make up
It
Civil
is.
War,
Oh
right?
my god,
A
it's good.
bunch of
I have a big one from Spider-Man.
it's
A huge one.
so good. I mean, that is like the role that Mr. Fantastic plays. The I mean, the opening, right? The explosion of Nitro in
Yeah.
Stanford, killing 80 kids or something like that. It was so different, but they called it Civil War, and they made their story, and they adapted it so well to what they really needed, right?
Hmm.
It was a good mix of the elements of the comic book with what they had already set up in the MCU. I hope that we get that we get an adaptation. Doomsday to me feels like they're not basing it off of the comic book. I'm not sure if there is
That
a Doomsday.
that's what I was gonna
Like,
say. I have no idea what it could be about. You know,
yeah,
what is
that's
it
the
gonna
thing.
be about? What is why? Even Kane the Conqueror, honestly, because Secret Wars is about incursions. What was what was Kang's end goal? What is Doom's
Well,
end goal?
Kang helped that. Kang helped them push that multiverse saga kind of element. You understand? Because
Yeah.
it was for me working together with Loki, and that helps you understand it. But I'm like, you don't need to see a TV show, or you shouldn't need to see a TV show, right? In order for you to understand the film, because if anything, the TV show should be a treat for those who see it, and not necessary for those who skip it. When you make it to huge events like Avengers Doomsday.
You know what? I feel like I feel like Secret Wars should have came out first. We haven't seen the movies, but going based off what I know, because King Dynasty again, what was his end goal? He can see if I remember correctly, he can see the future. He can see different possibilities and stuff. What was his end goal? You know, if
Yeah, we
for
weren't really
Doom,
there in terms of the whole universe.
yeah,
We weren't
and
really
then
there.
yeah, and then Doom. He's supposed to be the actual Doom, not a variant, nothing. He's supposed to be the
No, he's
actual
supposed to be
Doom.
Victor Von. He's playing Victor
Yeah,
Von Doom.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the Doom. So, if I remember correctly as well, he's supposed to be the Fantastic Four's Doom. Not like another Doom from a different world. He's supposed to be their Doom. Whether he's in the movie or not, who knows? But then again,
It's the
what's
final
his
movie of
end
the
goal?
MCU before Doomsday. He's gonna be in it. Let's be real with each other. Let's
I
be
would
real.
hope so. I would hope so. But then what's his end goal? Because the only thing I can think of is he somehow knows an incursion is happening, but why is an incursion happening on their world? Unless he's a variant, which they said he's not. So why would there an incursion be happening for the Fantastic Four?
Maybe
You know?
there's someone else in his world, or you know, that's where I'm going to. Right? They're
Hmm.
closing off the saga. They have to. They really have to bring it in. I mean, for me, it all depends on Doomsday.
Yeah.
I I really I don't even look as that far, towards Secret Wars. I'm not looking that far at all. I'm like, what will we get with Doomsday?
But
Not because of RDJ. It could have been Killian Murphy cast
yeah.
as Von Doom would have been my pick, and I would have been equally as invested because the story is what matters. See, like, there's so many characters that we've gotten. Where's Shang-Chi? Great character, great movie in my opinion. I don't think I've even talked to you about Shang-Chi, right?
Nah, we
And
haven't.
totally forgotten in the MCU. Hasn't even been referenced, talked about, nothing,
Hmm.
right? A lot of characters, just the Eternals. First time we even hear their existence mentioned, right? And it's a very interesting place, where we come and discover adamantium,
Hmm.
right? But it's let's see what they have to offer us. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I hope Secret Wars, they really got a good story written for it. I mean, they're gung ho. They're locked into shooting right now, so hopefully they deliver a compelling story, man. Something that makes sense because now you're introducing someone that hasn't been introduced throughout the whole multiverse, right? And now you've got to convince the people, not the film fans, not the MCU fans, not the Marvel fans. You have to convince everybody that this is Victor Von Doom
Yeah.
coming in, and
And
you have Galactus and Fantastic Four. Like, you have characters that are huge. So
uh,
I hope they're doing right by it. Silver Surfer, which we haven't seen, but we know she. Did you know?
yeah,
Silver
Silver
Surfer.
Surfer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Silver
a big
Surfer is
thing
there.
too. I know of it because it's a female. It's a woman. People don't like that
I
term.
don't
She's
care.
a woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I know of it because a lot of people are like, oh, it's a woman
Yeah.
playing it. Like,
It's
who
what?
fucking cares? Dude? Who cares?
Yeah.
Um.
I want to see just good actress too. She's from Ozark,
Mhm.
I believe.
Oh,
Um,
really?
which I'm watching right now. Um, yeah, she's great. So hopefully, I I believe in John Watts. I like his writing. So
Hmm.
hopefully he delivers there. But I think it's time for us to ho- start wrapping this up. We've been at it a
Yeah,
while. I
and
guess final thoughts on Captain America. Final thoughts on where we hope to see, you know,
what do you
things
rate it?
go.
Yeah, I know you told me, but for everybody, what do you rate it?
Um, Actually, I rated it. I'll tell you what I rated it coming out of the theater. I think I gave
Hmm.
it a 6.5. But after I slept on it, I think at a solid. We're at a solid five, man. I I,
Really?
I went down for me. I
Dang.
really wish it didn't. I really wish it didn't because I was hyped, and you know what? Everybody was telling me this was gonna be wack. I'm like, no, I think they're hiding a gem right here, and it really let me down. It's because I'm craving quality. 2024, we got one MCU movie, one MCU movie. It hasn't been that way in the past 10 years. That we only get one movie, even in their first year. Marvel spit out Incredible Hulk and Iron, right?
Yeah.
And granted, we got a great Deadpool movie. I had so much fun with it. Fun with the cameos, fun with the storytelling, fun with the writing. It worked for me. So I wanted that return to form. This wasn't it, and Thunderbolts doesn't look to be it for me either. I think Fantastic Four is the one that's
I,
gonna really
I feel like
gather.
Thunderbolts is gonna be a fun movie, but
How
I
so?
don't see how it is going to tie everything together. I'll say that much. I don't think they're gonna really show anything. I think Fantastic Four is gonna show what's to come. But going back to the whole Secret War should be before Doomsday. Again, we have no idea what the motives are. We have no idea what their end goal was. Doomsday, Victor Von Doom is going to come out of nowhere in Fantastic Four. And now he's the main villain of the next movie for everybody. I think what should have happened is, and this should have been from the beginning, excluding the whole Jonathan Majors debacle. What should have happened is Secret Wars happens first, and then Kang Dynasty or Doomsday. And the reason, I mean, we who knows? I haven't watched it. I have no idea what it's going to be about, but it makes sense to me going that direction, going two back-to-back movies, and I think it should have happened that way because Secret Wars is going to include incursions, of course. So Doomsday or King Dynasty should be about them taking advantage of that. Because again, I have no idea what it's going to be about, but apparently it's going to. Those two movies are set in Battle World. It's going to be back to back. So Secret Wars should have been them being in Battle World, dealing with whatever's going on, this and that. Doomsday or King Dynasty should have even been called Secret Wars Part Two. Who cares? That should have been about them still being in Battle World and figuring out how they're going to get out, how they're going to save all their worlds,
I'll be
and
real
then
with you.
the
Ah,
villain should have been trying to take advantage of that. Doom or Kang should have been like, okay, the heroes are planning to save everybody. In the comics, they make like this one big, like multiversal ship that saves as many heroes as they can. They combine the worlds together. If that, I mean, they could keep that in the movie. I think that would be cool. And then one of the villains, again, either it was Kang or Doom, whoever, doesn't matter, they should have found out what was going on and tried to take advantage of that. Tried to build the world in their image. Because
well, look,
I feel like that makes sense. If
well,
King
but right.
if King knew what was to come, it could have been that's his time to shine. That would have been his time to do something. And it
Yeah.
makes sense for the King Dynasty. The King Dynasty, he's gonna rebuild the world in his image.
Well, let's see what they got because right now we can't.
No,
We have no
yeah.
idea what these things are going to offer us.
Mhm.
The what we've gotten thus far from Phase Four hasn't even hinted it. I mean, it
Mhm.
really has not
That,
hinted
but
at what
that's
we're
what I'm
getting.
saying. As of now, from the way I see it, I feel like that's how it should have been done. Because now we're supposed to see. We're probably gonna get maybe 10 minutes max of Victor Von Doom, and now we're supposed to see him as the big bad villain to just come out of nowhere and be a big
Honestly,
part.
I think we're going to get less than that from
Like
Fantastic
that,
Four.
the 10 minutes max, bro. Honestly, like,
But
like
listen,
maybe even a post credits.
if
You
they
know.
make if they make if they make Doomsday, if they make Victor Von Doom the main character like they did in Infinity War, maybe they have a shot at saving that story or doing something that puts you know Victor Von Doom on that level, that
Hmm.
where we felt that Thanos was by the beginning of Infinity War. So your thoughts on Captain America, just to kind of sum it up, and what did you rate it?
Uh, honestly, kind of what you started at, like a like a 6.5, maybe a 7. It's just again, I left the theater feeling so empty. I'm not excited for what's to come. I don't know what's to come, and bringing back the incursions and stuff. If they're not going to put all the universe together, what's really the point of making the incursion such a big thing? Because there's the X-Men.
Well, we don't know
Um,
that the incursions is a for sure deal.
Doctor
That's
Strange too. Post credit is the incursions, and then um, not Avengers. Captain America: Brave New World. In the end, oh, you think you're the only one fighting for your world to survive? The incursions are gonna happen.
well,
You know. So we got the
yeah.
X-Men world. We got Deadpool and Wolverine, which they have their own X-Men. And then we
Well,
have Fantastic Four, MCU main timeline. There's 4 worlds that they need to put together. And if they're not going to put them together, again, what's the point of the incursions? Because that's
yeah.
what Secret Wars is about too. Secret Wars is about the incursions. So if they're not going to put them together, then what's really the point of it?
Well,
And
hopefully they
I don't
keep.
know what's to come. I don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Well, there
I
has to
feel
be some
empty.
insight. There has to be some excitement in the unknown. At least they got us
Yeah.
right there. Like we're eager to see what they do. I just hope they win us back a little bit with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, so that we enjoy Doomsday. Right now we have a couple of movies to hold us over. In the comic book world, at least
Mhm.
we got a couple. If we look away from Marvel, go to DC, we got
And
covering your
yeah,
face.
Superman.
That thing looks fire.
Ah, I'm
We're gonna have
excited
a
for
good
that.
July because they're coming out the same month. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Here,
early in the month we get Superman, and then we get a
here's.
Fantastic Four.
Damn, what was I gonna say? Going back to like the excitement of the unknown. Honestly, bro, I'm not excited. Like, I just want it to be over with. The MCU
Well,
has
you
just.
know what? I think we all feel that way a little bit too.
Yeah, I
We're
think
like,
the MCU is just at a certain point. Like, come on, dude, just end. Like, not end everything, but like just get to the point. I want to know what's happening. Like
yeah,
there's no, I don't know. I don't feel a good build up.
we
I
want
just
we want the saga to end. We want the
yeah.
saga to end. And you know what? Hopefully they do a good job. I think that's what Marvel fans are thinking right now. Hopefully they do a good job.
Yeah.
If
It's
not,
just
we're
finger
not gonna cry.
crossed. That's
Yeah,
the thing. Is
exactly.
like I don't want to look forward to these movies just for them to do bad. That's why I want them. Just get it out the way.
Exactly.
I want to know if it's going to be good or bad, dude.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. So that was our, spoiler talk about Captain America, Brave New World, and the future. We went into, you know, great depth, I think, on what Marvel is offered and is billing us, for the movies coming up. Hopefully they course correct, because right now I'm back to feeling how I did before Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think
Yeah.
Couch, by your score, it's also I'm sure you would have loved to give this movie a 9, for it to be one of those movies that are like, dang, that had an impact not only on the
It,
universe but on
yeah.
me. Back to those
It,
themes,
it has to be really good to
those
be a
deep
9.
cuts.
It
Yeah,
has to
yeah,
be
yeah.
really good. I
You
was
don't get
hoping to
high
come.
ratings like that.
Yeah.
It's not
I
often.
honestly I don't honestly. If I don't have the need to watch a movie multiple times, but
Yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame, dude, I watched the hell out of those movies. I really
Let
did.
me ask you, what is there a movie or a project even in Phase 4, and I'm giving you kind of that out on the project, that you gave it a high
A
rating,
higher rating.
a high rating, and what was that rating? Because I doubt you spit a 10 out.
I never gave a 10 out. No, I think realistically speaking, I think the best one has been
In phase
Shang-Chi.
4.
Shang-Chi
Shang-Chi?
for sure.
Oh,
Yep,
yo, we've
Shang-Chi.
never talked about that.
We
Did
never
you like
talked
that?
about it. I loved it, bro.
I loved it too.
I watched. I think I woke up super early, and I watched it right before work. And bro, I went into work wanting to throw hands. Like, God, he hyped me up, and I guess
Yo,
if we end up doing it about No Way Home, I didn't like it.
yeah, I figured.
Um, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, I guess we might eventually get to it, but that
Definitely talk about it. Yeah, we'll
Shang-Chi
talk
was
about it.
amazing, bro.
I feel like Shang-Chi is the only Marvel project that came out of Phase 4 that I was like, how dare they not give that a sequel? Because
Hmm.
I went in with, I'm not gonna lie, I went in with low expectations because I had
I
just
did
gotten
too.
Black Widow, and I thought Black Widow
Yeah,
was a dud. I
yeah.
did, and
The only thing
they
I knew about
killed
Shang-Chi is that
Taskmaster.
yeah, Taskmaster, they dropped the ball
Oh
hard on
my
that
god,
one.
that's
The
so bad.
Shang-Chi, the only thing I knew was that he trained Spider-Man to fight after he lost his spider sense. That's the only thing I knew about him. I
I
knew
know.
nothing
I
about the
didn't even
10
know that. That's
rings,
pretty.
knew
That
nothing
makes
about
it
that.
cool.
Yeah, and
So
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I hope they have these bigger
So
interactions
I,
with each
so
other.
what? Shang-Chi was just such a good movie. If anyone watches this video,
Beautiful.
go watch
Go
Shang-Chi and
go
have a
watch that
great
movie if
time.
you haven't. It is so
Go.
good. The action is amazing.
It's funny.
It's good.
That
It's
third
well
act,
paced.
the villain, the villain. Talk about that is the best written villain in
Yeah.
Phase 4, in my opinion. I'm not
Oh
gonna go
yeah.
into it, but that is one hell of a movie. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Every minute of it. It was a great movie, and hopefully we get those. Those are the
Yeah.
movies that I want because up to now it's just been a mediocre soft. It's not even a sophomore year. What is soft? This multiverse saga hasn't delivered. I think in general to the fandom. Hopefully they can tie it up and move on quickly. Tie it up in a good way, right? They kind of set themselves up with good good directors, good writers. Um, they have winning teams to close this off, and they have great, like I said, and we were speaking about great source material to work with. Now that they acquired Cox, and hopefully it's all positivity from here on. But I guess we're gonna be, what's the next comic book movie thing coming out? I guess it's Thunderbolts, right? It's coming out in May.
Thunder. It's Thunderbolts, and then I'm pretty sure there's no other movies. There's shows and stuff, but I don't think there's other movies. I think it's
Yeah.
Thunderbolts,
So,
then Thunderbolts, Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, Secret Wars.
well, Fantastic Four also. That's coming in.
Fantastic Four. You're right. That was the one I
So
was missing.
hopefully they're able to close off their multiverse saga. But so far, that was our thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World. Hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys uh had a blast in the theaters. It's always nice to have that, and I guess Couch. Thank you for joining,
Is
bro. This is fun. It's always
Oh
fun, bro.
yeah. Honestly,
It
we
doesn't,
always have these long conversations. This is a long time coming, honestly, and I hope
yeah,
people enjoy these little insights too, because it's fun. It truly is fun to discuss these movies with you, dude.
yo, likewise, likewise. All right, that's it for us, and have a good one.
All right, bye.